Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. We're here after Paris Saint Germain's yesterday's qualification into the Champions League semi-final. And wow, we talked for like 6 hours on the post-match podcast straight after the game. Many thoughts, many opinions about the game. Generally happy. Obviously, there were some critique. Some players, we talked about the performance overall from the Paris Saint Germain team. But the conclusion I came to is it was all on us. When it was 2-0, it was because of PSG. When it was 3-2, it was because of PSG. We started off the game absolutely brilliantly, controlling the game, Villa not doing anything. And we scored 2 goals. Then we were 5-1 up. Even me, as a supporter of PSG, I was dancing. It's like 5-1 up, 30 minutes in. We've already done what we had to do going away at Villa. Get 2 goals. We already did that. And at that point in my head, the game was over. And me as a supporter thinking that is absolutely normal and is absolutely irrelevant to the game. But that's not the players. The players felt the same. When they were 5-1 up, they were like, we're 5-1 up. Top caring, made stupid mistakes, left a lot of space. Obviously, the first goal, heavy for Gay's deflection as well. But it's Kvara loses the ball. Too much space between the midfielders and the defense. Hakimi doesn't recover enough. Vitinha doesn't recover enough. And they get a goal. Going into the second half, I even rewatched like my live watch-alongs. And the second half was pretty much me being, calm for majority of it. Apart from the moments. Especially that like 10-minute period, 5-minute period where Villa got the 2 goals. Rashford had that big chance. Tielemans had that big chance. And obviously, the McGinn goal, when I watch back the replay, what I look is obviously a lot of runners in Villa making it hard to go at McGinn. But it's also our players be like, it's McGinn. Honestly, McGinn is, he's somewhat of a bum. But I remember he's scored a banger before. So, I wasn't thinking about it in that moment. But our players, didn't respect the Villa players after we went 5-1 up. They didn't respect McGinn there. They didn't respect Rashford on the side when he cooked Fabian and Vitinha and they got the goal. But then when it was 5-4, our players were like, all right, game on. You know that meme when you're sitting in front of your chair and then you get serious? You lay back, you take the controller. That's basically what Paris Saint Germain did. And I said, I felt we controlled the majority of the game. I felt Paris Saint Germain were the better team in this game. Obviously, Villa had, very dangerous moments, including the 3 goals that they scored, but I'm not really rating that much. I've seen a lot of Aston Villa fans that are crying, that said, only 3 minutes extra time. The referee, PSG didn't have to play a game on the weekend. Just a bunch of tears as usual, because if we didn't play a game on weekend, if you got more extra time, if this happened, we would have still knocked you out. For me, that's the issue. Villa fans do not understand that this game was tight because of our players. And thinking about it, the best way yesterday's game could have gone is that we didn't go 2-0 that quickly. Maybe we got the 1-0 early, and then we got the 2-0 maybe right before halftime or right when we came out at halftime. That would have been better. 2-0 that early, just obviously this is a bad thing. I'm just explaining what happened and why what happened here doesn't affect what's going to happen in the knockout stages. The same goes for FC Barcelona. They were an example I always brought up alongside us. When a team is up by 4 goals, it doesn't really matter what happens after that because it's job done. Sure, the players shouldn't have that mentality, 100%. It's arrogance, especially from the 2 youngest sides in the tournament and so on. But what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that will not be brought into the Champions League semi-final. At the end of the day, an Arsenal, a Madrid, a Bayern, an Inter fan should not be overconfident because of what happened in these 2 second legs, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That's how I felt. For me, when we went 5-4, all I was thinking about is just survive this. Did I have any question marks about my team? No. What we saw was, Villa having, great moments. Paris Saint Germain not doing enough to defend it. And Villa got the goals. But apart from that, I'm overall happy with the team's performance. The mentality definitely has to be questioned. Obviously, I've been reading all the reports. We saw Ousmane Dembélé. No one is happy, with what happened, which is a good thing. We lost the game. You can't be happy after losing a game, despite qualifying. We don't have that Real Madrid mentality where it's all about going through, it's all about getting a goal. No, We have to perform as well. We have to look like the best side. And for some moments in that game, especially in that second half, I would just gave Villa nearly the game. Nearly. But yeah, shout out to the team for the performance, going away at Villa Park, getting what we needed, and we're into the Champions League semi-final for the sixth time for the fourth time in the past 6 years, and for the fifth time in our Champions League history. Feels really great. You know, we're getting more comfortable. First of all, we're getting more comfortable as a club in the Champions League semi-final, and then it's this core of players as well. Second consecutive Champions League semi-final. The expectation from these players will be really high going into every single upcoming season, because they've been in the semi-finals both seasons they've been here. You know, the Lucho era and everything. So they will feel very confident going into next seasons, and they will feel very confident going into the Arsenal game. We obviously have 3 Ligue 1 games until the Arsenal game, play in 2 weeks, so not that much time to left. Obviously, Madrid maybe could make a comeback, but it's probably going to be Arsenal. But yeah, we're going to come to that and our thoughts later on. But back to the game, Gianluigi Donnarumma, I have to talk about him because he's done exactly what we have expected from him from a long time. I mean, this is obviously his 4th season. I think it's his 4th season at Paris Saint Germains. And he finally did it. You know, with a lot of pressure on him, with the contract shortening, with Safano putting in good performances, Donna stepped up. Donna stepped up in the Liverpool away game, and Donna stepped up in this Aston Villa game. Hugely. Exactly what we needed from Gianluigi Donnarumma. We obviously have a semi-final and a Champions League final left to see if he can continue this entire tournament, but I'm already happy because this is something he's not done before. Last quarterfinal versus Barca, he could have done better. This quarterfinal, I don't think all the 4 goals that he conceded versus Villa, he could have done better. I mean, the first one at the Parc, Rodgers tapping back post, nothing he can do. The Pacho deflection, nothing Donna can do. Konsa goal, really nothing he can do. It's too great of a shot. And then McGinn, deflection and a great shot from McGinn. So Donnarumma, happy with him. Ashraf Hakimi, you know, in my opinion, apart from Donna, maybe man of the match. And I also saw a lot of Villa fans who thought a Villa player deserved the man of the match, which is absolutely disgraceful. It should have been either Ashraf Hakimi or Gianluigi Donnarumma. They were the 2 best players in the 90 minutes of football. I don't care that McGinn scored a banger. That doesn't make him the man of the match. I don't care that Villa won the game. That does not matter. Once again, it's completely irrelevant. Our 2 centre-backs, Pacho was good. Marquinhos, you know, it's the usual question marks. Hopefully we can just survive the season with him. Hopefully we can win the UCL despite Marquinhos being our right-sided centre-back. Nuno Mendes, another good performance. Still some question marks about his defending. I'm seeing Rodgers go through him. Like, Nuno, man, come on, man. Gotta be serious. I understand when you face Salah, you're like, oh my God, I gotta lock him up. And obviously, if we face Madrid, Nuno's going to be facing like a Rodrigo, so that should be his aim defending against him. And we face an Arsenal, his aim should obviously be pocketing Saka, just like he did to Salah. So midfield, Fabian Ruiz, genius. Another go-to performance from Fabian Ruiz. I definitely saw Fabian Ruiz from the Euros. It's just the quick touches, the geniusness, the beautiful. Vitinha, heavy question marks off the ball. Was involved in all 3 goals negatively. He has to get more physical, especially playing as the 6 at this team. I think that's what Lucho has to tell him. You have to get more physical. You just have to. Not get stronger, just get more physical. Don't fear going into a challenge. And we need to start taking tactical yellow cards. I mean, Fabio Ruiz was the only player with potential suspension for the upcoming game. When you look at all other teams, they have way many more yellow card players. Like, we need to start taking more tactical fights. Like, Tielemans, for the first goal, we could have tackled him very early on. McGinn, we could have tackled him early on. We got to get a bit dirty. And then going into the João Neves, sensational. Like, when the game is more opened up, that's João Neves' bread and butter, because he has, his qualities is not one thing. Like, Vitinha, it's more, he's so good with the ball. So good passing, so good ball retention. João Neves is more the complete package. He can do everything. So when the game is toe-to-toe, head-to-head, front-to-back, back-to-4, that's when João Neves is at his best. So, yeah, great performance from João Neves. And then going into the attack, Bradley Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, even Dewey off the bench. Dembele, all got to do better. Very happy. I mean, we still scored 2 goals. Barcola involved in the first one. Dembele involved in the second one. Kvara also slightly involved in the second one as well. We still had some involvement, just we have really high expectations of them, especially Kvara losing the ball for the first Aston Villa goal. And then lastly, Luis Enrique. I think he managed this game perfectly. And I blamed the so-called potential bottling on the players. I don't think I don't think that has anything to do with Luis Enrique. Maybe he could have done something better at halftime for us to come out better in the second half, but we still came out good in the second half. It was just the moments, the moments, the moments. They saw McGinn, they were like, yeah, what's McGinn gonna do? We can't have that mentality here. We need to improve it. So yeah, we went through, but once again, there's a lot of lessons to take away from this tie, as there were lessons in the Liverpool tie. Probably no lessons in the Brest tie, but yeah, this is the UEFA Champions League. There is no easy game. But we just keep on, going through. We just keep on doing it. Obviously, I would have wanted us to do it in a more beautiful way. Both Liverpool and Aston Villa are fortunate they only lost by 1 goal, and Liverpool are fortunate they went to a penalty shootout. And we cannot have that anymore. Like, maybe I will start focusing on that for next season. But even Arsenal, like, we need to be more comfortable result-wise. The performance is comfortable sometimes, maybe not towards the end of the games, especially against Liverpool and Villa. But I need a more comfortable results, because Liverpool, we should have beaten them more. Aston Villa, we should have beaten them more. If we take our chances, make less defensive mistakes, we will start, getting a more comfortable. We can do the Lucho U-shaped possession. That's why maybe I'm looking at for the Arsenal game, a comfortable result. So more than not a draw, not extra time, not pens, definitely not, and not winning by 1 goal. So winning by 2 or more on aggregate. Just feel a bit more comfortable. But it's tough. It's tough for this team. Average age of like 24.9. So that's why they're still making these amateur mistakes. That's why they're still getting arrogant and sometimes. But yeah, the most important thing is the reaction. Obviously, we only have 3 pretty irrelevant games in Ligue 1. Like, no big side we're gonna face. The only focus is obviously winning the games. Maybe stat padding a bit, getting some confidence up for the Champions League semi-final, and continuing the unbeaten streak, obviously, that we still have alive. But 2 weeks of preparation for Luis Enrique. Obviously, after today, we will know who will be playing. Yeah, and I'm really happy with this team. I'm really happy with this team, because in the beginning of the season, after everything that happened, after all the bad things we were going through, I never stopped believing in this team because of the talent of this team, because of what I saw last season from Luis Enrique's Paris Saint Germains side. And they've proven me right. I mean, we're into the Champions League semi-final once again. My expectation for the season was dominate everything in France. We've already won the league. We've won the Coupe de France. We might even do league unbeaten, so even better than last season. Won the Trophée du Champion in the Coupe de France final, and obviously into the Champions League semi-final. So we've already met my expectations for this season. So everything coming after this is just great. Does this mean I will be okay? I'll be happy if we get knocked out to Arsenal or Madrid in the semi? Absolutely no. But I'm just saying my expectations going into the season, we're continuing, in the Luis Enrique project, and it looks great. It looks great. It looks great. But obviously, this is the biggest and most important part. When we're going to talk about the 2024-2025 season in the future, we're going to talk about how did they end it, because that is what matters. We have 10 games left. These 10 games will tell us if we went unbeaten in the league, if we won the Champions League, and if we won the Coupe de France. Yes, we won Ligue 1. Winning Ligue 1, yeah, bigger than Coupe de France. So these are 3 out of the 4 biggest stuff for the season. So yes, we have done great, but we need to be serious. Job is not done. The most and biggest and most important part of the season is coming up at the moment right in front of us. We need to be concentrated. We need to be focused. And we as supporters need to support this team very strongly. We need to be there every game. We need to have belief. There were PSG fans that didn't have belief we would do it versus Liverpool. There were PSG fans that didn't have belief we would make it out of the group stage. There were even PSG fans that didn't have belief versus Aston Villa, whether that was before the game or when Villa scored those 2 consecutive goals. Always believe in this team, because this team, I've always believed in PSG, but this PSG team, I can believe in it very strongly. When we went 5-4, when the game was 5-4, I was still calm. Phil even came on in the pod later on and said that I was playing a nonchalant gimmick. No, I was just calm. because I trusted this team. I knew that what Villa did was because we were just fucking around and be like, it's Villa, man, it's Rashford, it's McGinn. And as I mentioned, we cannot have that mentality, but that's why what happened here. Because I've seen some PSG fans and even Barca fans worried for the knockout stages based on what happened yesterday in the second legs. And what I can tell you is, first of all, you know nothing about human psychology, and you haven't watched Champions League football. Like, do you know how many times in the Champions League there has been a big margin scoreline in the first leg, and then in the second leg the opposition team wins, but it's not enough. Like, it don't matter. This has happened so many times before. It doesn't matter. Everything Villa did does not matter, especially in the way PSG led them. If we had a tight game since the beginning of the game, I could give prop to Villa. But we had the calmest, most comfortable 30 minutes. We got 2 goals. Villa got nothing. And after that, more in the second half, obviously they only had that Tielemans goal in the first half. But after that, that's when, you know, some moments here and there came. Like, when... Calm, please. Calm. So proud of this team. So confident in this team. And we will definitely go all the way. That's been it from your boy PSG, and as usual,